Alright, welcome back to Friends Again Gaming. Last time, Sean managed to get himself killed in record time. Honestly, it's a little bit impressive, but don't worry, we've brought him back. Sort of. Meet Arcturus Lionheart, Sean's brand new elf body complete with pointy ears and, hopefully, better survival instincts. Will he make it through this session? Who knows? Stick around and find out. So where do we leave off?
January.
Oh! What do you remember, Sean? You are the main protagonist.
All right, so what do you remember, Sean?
Fuck. Oh God. I don't remember anything. I'm gay.
I mean, you had a pretty good memory before Isaac got here, but then
he blurred it.
Bitch, answer!
That shit would be so funny. What the fuck do you want?
To hear your recap, you fuck.
Oh shit. I remember I was RKO'd by a fucking car by my boss.
Yeah, that sucks.
He fired me.
That does suck.
My girlfriend.
That does suck too.
And then I was off on my journey, and then I died.
Your journey to work,
right? Like I don't think that's exactly what happened. So you started off as Sean, the
normal everyday human.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Blake? You said piece of.
Oh, you know what I was gonna say, but we're gonna keep this PG-13
piece of
tonight.
hot ass.
So yeah, you got hit by your boss. You ended up in a black space. You met with someone that seemed to be angelic in nature, but was also very focused on paperwork and making sure he didn't have to do any. You got to choose, if I remember right, what you looked like, as well as your class. You then went on to leave and were confronted by someone else and offered power that you denied. And then you woke up with a tiefling holding his hand out to you, saying that you had taken a nice hit to the head, if I remember right. Here's where we're going to start. You awaken on a grassy hill overlooking the ocean. The sun's bright in your eyes, a figure standing in front of you, holding out his hand. The air smells of salt, and you can hear the waves crashing. As you sit up, do you take the hand in front of you?
Yes.
Roger?
So, the person that you see is a tiefling, so he's red. He kind of looks like a little devil. He's got the Three Musketeers style, like, mustache, like the curly fucking, like the goat. And he is, kind of tall. He's wearing a big smile, and his horns kind of go along his slicked back hair. And he hands his hand out to you.
I take his hand and get up cautiously.
Yeah, and when you do that, I imagine he like pulls you up, and you know, for his like frame, you'd be surprised that he was able to lift you up like as quickly as he did. And he says, "Why don't we get you to the infirmary?" And he points at the little bit of blood that's coming out of your side.
Oh shit, where did that come from?
And don't be so silly, Ark. You were stabbed by a goblin? Do you not remember the raid? Let me check your head. And he like begins to like like a monkey would look through your hair into your scalp at like any kind of fucking bumps or lesions.
The hell is this guy doing?
As you, with that roll that you had, a 20, you know, that's an amazing perception roll. With that roll, you, while he's looking through your hair and you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, you, you see him, you look around the camp, and as you're looking, you see that it's a pretty nice makeshift camp. You're not too far from the stream. From where you're sitting at the campsite, You can see the stream within walking distance. You have a nice wall to your back. I don't know how much you, as Sean, would know about, strategy and strategic positioning. But just based off of a glance, like, yeah, this is a pretty nice camp, even though it is pretty low tech. Like, you don't see any solar power energy catchers or anything like that. But you're also staring at a demon-looking human that's checking you over.
He also smells like warm vanilla.
The other thing I'll say that you notice is that as you're looking around, you see 2 cages towards the back of camp with a tent in between them. In one cage looks to be a wolf, maybe? Let me ask, Sean, have you ever seen, wolves and those type animals in your life?
No.
So yeah, I mean, this looks like a wolf. Like, it's big as fuck, right? But it looks like a wolf. It's the cage is probably 5-6 feet high, and the hair of this wolf is actually coming almost out of the top of the cage at 5 feet. And then in the other cage, you see a little person off in the distance. But as you look a little closer, it catches your eye and almost turns feral. This definitely is not human. It has a long pointed nose with warts on it and long ears with an almost bald forehead, like scalp, and long hair going down its back. You also see tattoos all over its chest and arms.
Would this be like a goblin?
You could assume that this is a goblin. It might even be the goblin that stabbed you.
I might need to take a closer look at this.
So you pull away from the man digging through your hair, looking for wounds.
Will you stop? We have to go take a look at this camp and whatever the hell that thing is over there. Come with me.
Roger would look back and say, "Do you really want to see him right now?"
Yes, this might be the asshole that stabbed me. Come on.
He as you begin walking, he would get in front of you, catch up, and then gently put his right hand onto your chest and say, "He is the one that stabbed you. Do you seriously not remember anything?"
No, I don't. I remember I was on my way to the... Oh wait, he said no. Don't mention anything about my life. Yeah, I don't remember much before getting stabbed, apparently.
Well, let me recap you. On the way to the infirmary. And he, puts his hand out, showing you where to go.
So then we head off to the infirmary, or...
No, alright, so look, you can do absolutely anything that you want. You could say no, you could say fuck off, you could... Anything. That's the beauty of DnD. This isn't a linear story, is what I'm trying to get at. You are the creator of it.
Make your choices, and the world will respond. You don't have to go along with anything, but if you want to, because you're confused and you're just like, well, what the fuck is going on? Like, he said I was gonna get reborn. Then you play it how you want to play it. It's just it's literally whatever you want. We have kind of a story to follow, but it's also, if you go sideways and you just decide to do some random shit, we will adjust and the story will change.
Exactly.
Maybe this devil thing is right. Roger, was it? Yeah, let's go to the infirmary.
Okay, friend. You are so silly. And then he would take you to the infirmary where, he'd sit down with you and he's telling you kind of what happened, where he's like, so, since you don't remember, we were raided. And that goblin that's in that cage over there, he's the one that stabbed you. I saw it all unfold. He first bonked you over the head with a rather large rock, and then he, as you could see on your side, made you bleed. It doesn't seem like it was anything serious, but you did fall.
Oh, so that's what happened. Well, So wait, was that our camp?
This is our camp.
You can roll, let's say intelligence or wisdom, whichever you prefer. Just a straight roll. If you get above a 10, I'll reveal a little stuff to you.
Wisdom?
Wisdom or intelligence, your choice. You got an 18. With an 18, just as you were walking, you kind of took note of the camp. You saw the wolf in the back right corner. You saw the goblin in the back left corner. There are 2 other tents, as you can see. It looked as if one of those tents, each tent was for sleeping. Like, one was yours, one was the person that you just met. The third tent that you guys are currently in seems to be kind of a med bay. So it's where all your extra shit is. So all your extra stuff. You're gonna see medicine. You're gonna see food. Just different things that you guys keep separate. And of course, outside you have your fire and places to sit. But it's a tidy little camp.
Okay. Where's the guy that stabbed me then?
He is the one in the blue over here.
Okay.
And
so
then
wait,
his
he's in a
wolf
cage?
is back there. Yes, he is in a cage. Okay, so he is currently locked in place. He can't do anything because he is in a cage.
And I imagine he's like eyeing you down.
Yeah, so he acts very timid. Like whenever you kind of look at the cage, he's kind of like hunched over in a corner. But he does look at you occasionally, and when he does, I'm not gonna say he stares you down per se, but he doesn't break eye contact. Like if you look him in the eye, he catches your eye and he looks back.
Every time, okay.
Every time. If you're looking at him and he catches your eye, he looks directly back into your eyes, like no fear.
Alright. So would I like go interrogate him?
That's up to you, brother. Like, look, Raj, did you tell him your name?
No, I didn't tell him. Because,
cool. So yeah.
I mean, you have to imagine, Sean. He knows
would already
you.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the tiefling in front of you, he has been talking to you the entire time. Like he's patching you up, making sure that you're good. And what I'm gonna actually say is, Isaac, roll a d8 plus 2. All right. So Sean, you get 8 additional health. So you're currently at 1, which was just Roger kind of getting you back on your feet after you got knocked out. So go into your health in the middle of your page and just add 8 to it.
Or health?
Yeah.
Let's see on my page. Okay. So then I'd be at 9?
Yep.
Alright. Okay. And so now I'm patched up. Yeah, I never did get your name, by the way. Thanks for helping me.
You are silly, but do you feel any better?
A little bit. I can't believe that asshole fucking sucker punched me and got away with this, but how did he end up in the cage?
I caught him, of course.
Was it before or after he stabbed me?
Afterwards. Tried interrogating him, but to no avail.
You think there could be more out there?
There has to be. This seems like a planned attack, albeit a bad one, but still planned nonetheless.
Were you following me?
Following you?
Can't imagine you were with me before.
What are you going on about, Ark?
I'm asking, what is your name? You didn't give me an answer the first time around.
You've known me for how many years has it been? But I'll play your game. I'm Roger, your mentor?
Mentor?
Yes. And he gives you this, like, quizzical look with an eyebrow up. How badly did that goblin hurt you?
Must have fucked me up pretty hard if I don't even remember you. Or how the hell I even got here. What were we doing in this area anyways?
This is where we were training before I took you into town so we could get you an Adventures Guild admission.
Adventures Guild admission?
Yes, you were the one that practically begged me for it.
And in that moment, Roger pulls a medal out of his shirt. It's a very ornate metal. It actually looks a little beat up and old, but still, you can tell that it's something important. And it has a gem inside of it that Roger. Well, Roger, tell me about the gem. What color is it? Can you tell me anything about it?
Yeah, so it's like this beautiful jade, but it's almost like an opal because when you see it in sunlight, it changes ever so slightly, but it's predominantly green, and around it is circular, but around it some insignias that you can't quite make out because it doesn't look like English, or common rather.
Okay. Let's see. How the hell do I translate this?
I've taught you many things, friend, but I haven't taught you how to read Sylvan yet.
Oh, well, do you know what it says? Can you translate it for me?
It just says my name and my class.
Class? So what are you?
I'm an adventurer, of course.
Alright, Adventurer Roger. What do we do now?
Well, I don't think we will be safe here if we even have a sneaking suspicion that goblins are about. I suggest you have your turn at interrogating the captive that we have. I'm sure your methods will be very odd.
Look, I'm not gonna bang the guy, I just want some information.
Then get your information, Arcturus.
Hey, before I go interrogate this guy, do you happen to know anyone named Tony?
Roll me a history check, Roger.
I'm rolling it. And I got a 14.
No. That name sounds foreign to you. Like, who? I would imagine, honestly, the first thought you have is like Antonius, like the playwright.
He looks at you and he says, "No, I have no idea who that is."
You have any idea who I could maybe ask? Just wondering. I figure I'd kind of want to keep the information to myself.
You can ask the goblin if you'd like.
Alright, well, looks like all things point to that. I grab my weapons, get ready, and I head out.
So yeah, you walk over to the cage, and as you're walking, roll me a perception check. You hear
Wait,
some
so did I
rough-
get a 19?
No, you got a 4.
Oh.
So you didn't have advantage. If you had advantage, we would take the higher of the two. But if you don't have advantage, we take the first one. And if you have disadvantage, we take the lower of the two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So as you're walking, you hear some rustling from the other cage, but you know, it's a fucking wolf, you know? It's a wolf. What do you expect? It's moving around. And you head over to the goblin, eyes on him and him alone. As you walk up to him, you see that his cage is much smaller than the wolf's cage. It's maybe 4 feet high, 3 to 4 feet deep. He does have enough room to kind of walk to the back of the cage per se. Away from you if he chooses to. But at this point, he's kind of sitting in the corner, staring down.
Before I do that, I want to actually go back and look at the wolf's cage, because I want to make sure there's no surprise. Or, you know what? Here, I want to have Roger go check out the wolf, or keep an eye on the wolf while I interrogate the goblin.
Do you say that to Roger?
Oh shit. Okay. Roger, do me a favor. Keep an eye on that wolf for me. I don't want any more surprises coming up while I interrogate this goblin.
Yeah, as you say that to Roger, he's gonna nod stoically and then just keep an eye on it. But while he's by it, he's also looking at you.
So that
Wait.
means that... Tell me how you do that. You can't see him.
Fair enough.
I mean, all right. So,
like this,
I
then.
feel like you could probably like come back here or over here, and you could like look over the edge.
Yeah, where I'm at right there. That's how I would do it. So kind of behind it, while getting more of a glimpse, or more of a glance at the goblin with a little bit of a look at Arcturus.
And do I have, okay, like looking at my character sheet, do I have like a sword and a shield?
You have a short sword, you have a hand axe, and you actually have 2 hand axes, and you do have a shield. You're also wearing chainmail.
All right, and then now, what is the state of this cage that the goblin is in?
I mean, you can do a perception or investigation to look at the cage.
Investigate. Oh, okay, gosh.
Perception. All right, so basically, you can choose either one. If you are perceiving, you're just kind of looking at the exterior of the cage. If you're investigating, you might like try the cage, check some areas to make sure they're tight. You know, like you're gonna do different things depending on the role.
Can I do both?
No. Unless you want to like take the extra time. I'm not going to say you can't, but it would require additional time. Is that fair?
That's fair. Take a quick look at it.
With a 13, you do a quick kind of saunter around the cage. As you begin to look around the cage, you do notice that the goblin starts eyeing you as you get closer and start walking around. But the cage itself, it looks sturdy. The lock is definitely in place. It even looks as though Roger has put a secondary padlock on the cage itself to prevent any potential escapes.
All right. I keep my sword at the ready, but I decide to interrogate the goblin.
Okay. So the goblin is kind of crouched in the corner looking at, honestly, he's looking at you directly in the eye very fiercely.
Speak, goblin. Why did you raid my camp?
He continues staring at you. All right, so you can roll a perception, intimidation, persuasion or intimidation in an attempt to get him to speak. Okay.
I didn't mean to roll twice.
Yeah, you're good. With a 14, the goblin keeps his eye contact, and you hear him go, "Food."
Look, I'm not gonna kill you. I just wanted to know why you raided my camp. If food was all you needed, all you had to do was ask.
He kind of scratches at the ground, but doesn't break your eye contact.
Hey, since I have you here, would you happen to know anybody by the name of Tony?
Roll me an insight check. When you say that name, you actually see the goblin's face go blank for a split second, and then his eyes like refocus and drill directly back into yours, and he goes,
is Roger here? I go over to Roger.
Yeah, Roger can hear all of this, by the way.
Oh,
He's,
okay.
10, 15 feet away. You guys aren't whispering.
Hey, Roger, come over here really quick. Can you translate what this guy is saying?
Oh, yes, I can try. And he would like slowly step towards, and but while trying to like keep an eye on the wolf. Excuse me, Jesus.
Yeah, at this point, it's just kind of sitting there, looking at you. Looking actually between the two of you.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna ask one more time. Do you know, or who the hell is Tony?
His face goes completely blank again. This time a little bit longer. For almost a full, 2 seconds, he just stares at, slack-jawed, stares off into space. And then he continues looking back and forth between the two of you and looks and just kind of... Food!
If I give you something to eat, will you talk then?
He looks to Roger, who is the one that, beat him and trapped him in here, and looks back to Ark and goes, food. And kind of like shrugs. You can give me another insight if you're just trying to like understand his body language. Yeah, he seems legitimate. Like it seems, he shrugged. It usually means yeah, right?
All right, Roger. Look, I really need some answers from this guy. Let's not try to beat his ass this time, but let's get him some food.
Very well. Let me show you where it's at. And he would like slowly walk over towards you and like look behind his shoulder to see like what the goblin's looking at, but then bring you into this tent, and in a sack there would be like rations.
Yeah, when you look at the goblin, roll me a perception, Roger. Or an insight. Whatever makes you feel spicy.
With a natural 1.
No, everything looks good. He really, he looks like he's sorry, and he might even be like submitting to Ark. But yeah,
better?
you guys head in, and you see the bag of rations.
All right, look, let's just feed him. Maybe he'll fuck off, but I do need my answers from him first. Okay, now what?
You head back out and give him the food?
Oh, okay.
I'm asking you, is that what you do?
Oh, right, yeah. Head back out and give him the food, but I approach him cautiously.
Okay. Yeah, as you approach, he has not left his position. He is not near the front of the cage. The entire time he has stayed in the back corner. As you approach with the rations in hand, how do you go about giving it to him, being cautious?
I get near the cage and then I kind of just toss it into it.
Cool.
But like underhand toss. I don't want
not just walk up and baseball throw it at him. Yeah, that's fair. That's
underhand
Yeah, you're like, eat this, you filthy animal.
Shut up, dog.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you toss it and he tries to catch it out of the air, but it ends up he like smacks it and it falls to the ground. Gets a little crumbly, but then he jumps on top of it and eats it ravenously. And what kind of rations were they, Roger? Were they like some jerky, some, just basic stuff? Were they tack?
Yeah, there was like some uncooked pork belly, some jerky, and some like deer jerky and elk jerky. There was chicken jerky.
Just jerky, man.
It was mostly jerky. Even the bag was made out of jerky. It was crazy.
Jerky.
Yeah, so he devours the jerky, and when he's done, he kind of slides back into the corner and goes back into defense.
All right, you ready to talk now?
And he kind of just looks up at you.
All right, so if you don't mind me asking one more time, who's Tony?
He stares off into the distance again. This time, it seems like even longer. Like it's been a good 5 or 10 seconds, and this goblin is. It's almost as if he's disassociating, and then he looks back at you and blinks a few times, and goes.
Damn, Sean, you got this goblin going into an autistic stim.
Roger, what is he trying to say?
I don't know. He seems to be upset about something.
Damn, I don't know what to do here. Shit.
Roger, after that last attempt, he would step in and say, goblins, they're not smart on their own. They're weak. You get the group of them together, though. They become trouble. They're kind of like a pack. So there must be a leader. This is just a pawn.
What do you think we should do?
Well, seeing as you don't know much about anything anymore, I think it would be wise to see if you still have your wits about you, and we can train.
Yeah, sounds like it could be a good idea. And then what did we train?
Yes, training montage. No, so I imagine basically in one of the corners it would actually be a dummy. You guys head over and Roger gives you some pointers. You guys spend the next maybe hour training.
So first what he would do is he would like see how you take your sword out, and he would just fold his arms and watch what you do naturally.
So, Art, you are standing in front of a 6-foot tall dummy on a stand that is, dug into the ground. What do you do?
I take it out and give it a few swings just to kind of get my rhythm down.
Okay. All right. Are you swinging at dummy, or are you just swinging through the air?
I do a couple quick swings through the air just to get a feel for the blade, and then I go for the dummy.
Cool. Roll. If you click short sword, it will roll for you. As you're spinning the sword through the air, it's so a 17 would definitely hit. So yeah, as
shit out of his heart, no.
and then click short sword, the little purple short sword, and that'll be the actual attack.
7 piercing.
7 piercing. So yeah, Roger, you watch as he pulls the sword out, and initially he looks a little like uncomfortable, I think. It's not like it's something he does on a regular basis, but when he stabs through the dummy, you watch as the muscles tense and you see the short sword easily slide through the dummy and come out of the back.
His arms are still crossed, but he nods approvingly, and he says, "Your strike hit solid, but your stance needs a little work. Again, now with more force."
Okay, so roll again. Yeah, this time you change up your footing, and when you go to pierce, you definitely feel a lot more stable, but you're not able to put as much oomph into it. You do hit the dummy, but it doesn't slide through like it did the first time.
All right. See, it's just my first time. Hey, I'll get better at this. I know I will. I have to. And would I swing again?
Yeah, go for it. As you thrust the sword directly into the dummy's neck, almost decapitating it. At this point, Roger would mention some of your skills.
Yeah, after seeing that attack, he's gonna say, "Very good. You still do got your wits about you. Okay." And he'll take you to like the more open area of the camp, and he'll say, "No, let's see how you fare against someone that's attacking you."
All right.
And as he is getting ready, you see this kind of like a blue mist kind of coming off of him, and it is going to his right, and that mist slowly begins to form kind of a shadow, it looks like, but then it becomes a full being that looks exactly like him, and he says, "It's not gonna be me you're facing. Let's see how you do." And Roger, the one that isn't blue misty, sits down and crosses his legs and says, "I won't go easy on you."
So wait, Roger's going to fight me?
So Roger has created a almost holographic version of himself. And that holographic version pulls out a rapier and points it at you. While the regular Roger goes and sits down, crosses his arms and legs, is that what you said? And watches?
That is what he said.
Like a shadow clone?
Sure, yeah. No, I don't think we can use that. They might sue. So yeah, no, there's literally a blue hologram version, but it's currently pointing a rapier directly at you. And Roger has said that you're going to fight it, and he has said that he's not going to take it easy on you.
All right, let's do this.
So actually, let's do this. This will be our first fight, so let's get that turn order up, huh?
There we go.
Ark got a 14 and Roger got a 19.
Yeah, so Ark, with your 14, the blue misty version of Roger will get to go first with his 19.
He's going to step close and attempt to swing at you with the butt of his hilt.
Do I click on my shield?
You
Does
did not
a 13 hit?
It does not, but you have not picked up your shield yet, Sean. It is still currently on your back.
Oh, okay. I pull out my shield.
Is that it for you, Roger?
That'll be it.
As Roger's blue specter attempts to hit Ark with the butt of his rapier, Ark is able to deftly step out of the way. Do you have anything else you'd like to do this turn, Roger?
No, that would be it.
All right, Sean.
Oh shit. I pull out my shield and then I throw my hand at.
Throw your hand at?
Do I gotta roll to pull out my shield, or do I? Or
No. So basically, pulling out your shield is going to be your interact with action or interact with object. So every turn, you can do a few things. You can interact with an object. You have an action that is your main action of the turn. You have your reaction, and then you also have your, what's the other one called?
I don't know. I'm always lost during combat. This is good for me too.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even know who I am half the time.
I just like doing the role play. I don't know about I don't know about like
Player.
attack economy and shit.
Jesus, I didn't know I was teaching two people at the same time. I'm gonna give you just a rundown of combat in general. Combat, it's of course an encounter. You're potentially fighting someone, you can talk someone down. It doesn't have to be a battle, there are other things you can do. But when you go into combat, when we start an initiative order, you're gonna have to roll for initiative, and then when your time comes, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever you want, whether that's running, hiding, fighting, plotting, talking, you can do whatever you want.
Also, I think it's important to note that excuse me. I just throw up. I think it's important to note that you only have 6 seconds in combat, technically. That's like super loose, I think, though, and it goes like DM by DM. But
Yeah.
like if you're like, my name's Arcturus, let me tell you about my whole life, I don't think it'll like fly. But like if you go over, it's whatever, you know.
Yeah,
It's like just keep that in mind. Is usually a round, or rather a turn, is 6 seconds typically,
Yeah,
and that's
and
super
it's-
loose again.
It's supposed to kind of mimic like a real
Exactly. So what it really is the entire round is 6 seconds, and all of this shit is happening at once. But to make it make sense, you get a turn. So yeah, I will also tell you, with your hand axe, because you're learning, I'm gonna be nice. You said that you threw the hand axe. Technically, with you being within 5 feet of it, throwing it would be at disadvantage. I will also say, because you had your sword in your hand, you would probably need to use the sword, or you would have to drop the sword.
Oh, okay. So what are you saying?
I'm saying you either need to re-roll your short sword.
Alright, reroll the short sword.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And Roger, you watch as Ark slices through your the blue version of you, and it disappears. Sean, do you do anything else?
I do a super cool JoJo pose.
Okay.
Well,
right, so,
if he sees you do that, he's gonna get up and kick you square in your chest.
All right, just roll me a straight. Let me see. It would be a D20 plus. I think what, like 6? Ooh, so you go to kick him in the chest, and he pulls up his shield. You got a 16. He pulls up his shield and blocks your kick.
And he says, "Don't forget I'm here too, friend." And this version of Rogier pulls out his rapier and he gets in a stance similar to the one that was Misty. And well, then he would also bring up his echo again. And now you're surrounded. You're getting split roasted by two Latin kings.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen.
And Sean.
So wait, he's got a bunch of copies of himself out now?
It's just him and one copy, but yes.
They're all calling me slurs?
Exactly.
Alright, I swing my sword at the clone. Or no, I bash my shield into Roger and then swing my sword at the clone.
Okay, and what are you hoping to get out of that? There's not really a sword bash per se, but what are you really trying to get with it?
Domination.
Ooh. So yeah, you stab through the misty Roger once again, making him disappear, with the other Roger directly behind you. Do you do anything else, Ark?
My turn is over.
Cool. And Roger, it is your turn again.
So Roger, with you like facing his back, he would kick the back of your knee and disengage.
So you're trying to physically hurt him and
Are
disengage.
we sparring?
Yeah.
Or
So you guys are,
me?
yes, you guys are sparring. He is actually, like, I'm gonna tell you straight up, he's being very nice to you right now. Like, Roger, well, actually, here, roll me a straight, no, roll me a straight intelligence check.
Me? Alright.
Yeah, you.
I do.
So I will say stop rolling saves unless I ask you for a save.
Wait, how did I roll a save? I just clicked on intelligence.
No, you clicked on intelligence in the saving throw section. Your intelligence on the left.
Oh.
Yeah, so your intelligence is actually +1 instead of -1. So that same roll would have been, I mean, it's not going to help you, but like it would have been a 3 instead of a 1. Ooh, so yeah, with a 3 intelligence, yeah, man, you think you got this. Like, you keep taking out this little blue fluffy version of him. He can't be much stronger. But yeah, when he, did I set that up for you, Ike? One sec.
Yeah, the unarmed.
All right, give me 1 sec. I'm just setting up that. So yeah, go for it. Roll that attack. Ooh. Ooh.
He hit me with the jade fist.
Roger, you go to kick his ankle, and he actually, I think he stumbles a little bit, but he actually steps on your leg. Take 1d4 damage. But you are still able to disengage and get away.
Yeah, so I would disengage and run this way. So now I'm towards the dummy.
And you do still have your bonus action.
And I would put my blue echo right next to the dummy on the other side.
Okay.
And that will be my turn.
Perfect. And Sean, your turn.
Alright, I move towards him. I move towards Roger. And then I tackle him with my shield. The real Roger.
Okay. So roll me a strength check. So that's just clicking on the left, the strength. Roger, you are going to roll me the same. Ooh, 16 from Ark. Ooh, with a 13 from... Actually, Roger, I'm going to say that you do get advantage for this. And here's the reason why. You've trained with Ark a lot. And even though he's acting a little strange, you've seen something very similar to this before.
I'll gladly take that 22 over the 13.
So yeah, Sean, as you run at Roger, the shield, you're expecting to run into him directly, and as Ark rushes forward, Roger, you are able to step to the left, and you actually tap his butt with your rapier. And at this point, he is past you, using that beautiful leverage. Ark, do you have anything else that you can do this turn?
Throw my shield at him. I don't think there's anything else I can do, right?
No, I don't think so. Level 1, there's honestly not a lot. Usually
yeah,
not
that
to
ends
you.
my turn.
Yeah. All right, Roger.
So Roger's gonna like feint an attack with his rapier, and then try and fucking punch your jaw with his left hand.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. You do connect with his jaw. Well, I would say you aim for his jaw, but you connect with his chest. And when you do, you feel the plate. Damn, what do you have? Chainmail?
Chainmail.
You feel the chainmail armor on his chest as your arm connects.
And then while that's happening, the blue one is going to try and shoot you with a light crossbow.
Roll that damage with a 23. The light crossbow sinks into your side, Ark, as you feel a very sharp pain, and you take 8 damage. All right, Roger. Are you doing anything else?
So he would say, fucking, I'm assuming he's pretty beat up right now.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't hear no bell. And he'd say, you're going to be slowing down here soon. I reckon I can take you out with one swing of my hand, a kick of my foot. This is where you dig deep and use your second wind to stay in the fight. And that will be the end of his turn.
All right, Ark. It's the start of your turn.
All right, I use second wind.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is I've already created like the attack spell casting, so you can just click that and it'll auto give you how much. So you got 5 Healies, so now you're gonna do +5 in that same box.
And then I back away from, I retreat from
Okay, so
Roger and
Roger, do you want to take that as a education opportunity? He's retreating without disengaging.
or
Oh,
disengage.
yeah. So he would like try and trip him with his foot.
So basically, to disengage, you would have to use your action, but then Roger couldn't attack you. If you are standing within 5 feet of someone, if you're standing beside an enemy and you step away from them, if you run past an enemy and you are within a square of them, they get what's called an opportunity of attack unless they've already used their reaction. So if you just run away from Roger trying to back up, you would technically take an opportunity of attack. If you choose not to fight this turn, you could disengage and run or back away.
Okay. I disengage.
All right. And where are you going?
I just back away.
All right.
And that would end my turn.
Okay, so what I will tell you, it's the first time, so not a big deal, but you have 30 feet of movement. Technically, you can't walk through enemies, but for this one, we'll say that basically you go 5 feet this way and you like rush through the tent and then you come around, so you're still fine.
Okay.
Roger, you watched as Sean backed off, ran through the tent, and popped out the other side. Shield up, sword ready.
All right, so both of the Rogers would go up to him, one going high and one going low.
Oh. All right. So
I'd say, all right, so this is what I'd say. The 17 would go low. It would be the blue mist Roger that would be coming at him. And as it's going to connect, it fades away. And then in its wake is the real Roger. And it looks like he's about to like fucking jack you in your face, Sean. But you're waiting for impact and it's not there. And Roger says, I think that about summed it up.
and we are out of combat.
Just for shits and giggles, let's see if that would have folded you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been fucking folded. You would have been slumped, bro. With the 7 and a 6.
I take that shit to the chin and headbutt both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as Roger makes that comment, the blue mist version of himself has completely dissipated. And you see that the sun has actually gone down quite a lot in the sky at this point. Looks like it's probably around 4, 5 o'clock almost. Time for food. Roll me a Constitution save, Ark. As you're standing there, shield and sword in hand, you know, feeling actually pretty good about yourself, like you didn't lose. But your stomach lets out a loud gurgle.
Ugh, goddamn. All this fighting bullshit's got me parched. I'm starving.
Let's sit down and have a meal.
Just so you know, you didn't win. I'll get you back later, Roger.
Of course, pupil.
As you guys head over, the fire isn't roaring by any means at this point. It'll need to be built up. It looks as if over the last few hours of training, it's died down. Beyond that, it looks as if everything is in place and everything's looking quite lovely. Roger does remember that there are some traps and some animal traps and berries close by that could be used for tonight's dinner.
So Roger would, as he's getting out, like, steel cast, or as he's getting out cast iron, like, pots and pans and carafes of water, he would say, oh, actually, Ark, can you go around the surrounding area where we set the traps and probably get us some berries? This chicken's gonna be dry without it.
Okay, so let's see. Where would I just be like out here, basically?
Yeah. What we're gonna do first is we're going to roll a survival check.
Okay. Alright, so survival.
Yeah, so with a 14, you know, in your old life, you never really did anything like this. You really weren't an outside person. If you had the chance, you'd rather be sitting in front of a computer playing an RPG or something, right? But as you start walking, roll me a perception check. Beautiful, beautiful. So as you start walking, you see what looks to be a path. You're not sure if you and Roger made this path, if this body and Roger made this path, or if it's kind of a more natural path. But as you're walking along the path, you're able to quickly see a few traps laid along the way. The first one you walk up to, is directly underneath a tree. You can give me, you do see that this particular trap does seem to have something in it. It kind of looks like a rabbit, but it has horn.
I take a closer look at it, but I stay cautious.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, it is in a cage. It's not something that seems like it will be getting out without someone letting it out. But yeah, it's a very large bunny. It looks like it honestly might weigh around 10 pounds with antlers coming out of its crown. It doesn't seem to be aggressive based off of your initial look of it.
I take my sword out and I strike the creature.
All right, roll me an attack with your sword. I'll give you advantage since it is in a cage. You stab into this bunny and it very easily slumps to the floor.
I collect its hide. Or I
Just
get
the hide?
carcass.
You collect the bunny, and what do you do now? Do you continue on or do you head back to camp?
I look around some more for some berries.
All right. Roll me another survival. As you are walking this path, you get a little deep. At one point, you can actually see over the cliff, and about 15 to 20 feet down is your camp, and you see Roger standing by the fire. You're not exactly sure what he's doing from that distance, but you watch as the blue version of himself walks out of the tent and walks over with something in his hand and drops it in the pan as they seem to be cooking together. But as you're looking, you don't see any berries, but you do see some mushrooms along the way.
I pick the mushrooms.
All right. Roll me a d6. Nice. And roll me a d4. So you find 6 different mushrooms along the way. 2 of which are huge. Like bigger than your head huge. Whereas the other 4 are about palm size. But some good looking mushrooms.
Well, I think that ought to do for tonight's meal.
All right, so you head back. All right, on your way back, roll me either a perception or an investigation. Pretty sure you're gonna go with perception. I think that one's better for you. Along the way, as you're walking, I'd say you get about here, and you notice that to your left, the main road that leads away from town seems to have a tree blocking the way that, well, I mean, you're not sure if it was there or not. You've only been here half a day, but it does seem a little strange that you don't seem to be able to take that road.
Huh, that's interesting. I wonder why that tree's blocking that path. I go over to investigate.
Okay, head on over. All right, and roll me an investigation. So as you walk over towards where the tree brush is, you're standing on a ledge about 10 feet high. And even standing on this ledge, the tree and the branches are up almost to your knee, so higher than 10 feet. Probably, just the branches are closer to 12 feet off the ground. With an 11 investigation, yeah, you can see that this definitely doesn't look like it just happened. It almost looks as if someone knocked the tree down or maybe even cut it down, but you can't really tell much beyond that.
Maybe Roger will have some info when I get back to camp. I'll ask him about this. And then I decide to head back to camp. Okay.
So yeah, as you head back to the camp, again, you see Roger cooking with himself, and I imagine that he's probably talking to his echo, the blue version of himself. And the echo seems to talk back, but no words come out of his mouth.
I try to listen in on the I try to eavesdrop on the conversation.
Okay, so you would probably hear, I don't know. What do you think about all this? and then like a beat happens where a response would be, and you'd go, yeah, I think that too. It's all very strange.
So what would I do now?
I mean, you're ear hustling. So I mean, do you walk up and say something, or do you just kind of stand there?
I walk up and I'm like, what's kind of strange, Roger?
They both turn their heads to look at you, and one of them says, you, and the other one mouths you, and he says, it's just strange. You look like my friend, Arcturus. Sometimes you even act like him, but I don't think you are him.
I'm not sure why you feel that way, Roger, but I guess everything feels a little odd, too, on my end. But hey, at least I have dinner. By the way, do you know what's going on with the road being blocked over there?
As both of them sit down and as Roger sits down and his echo pours him food and then pours you food, Roger would point towards where you were and he says, are you talking about that one?
Yeah, that one right over there. It doesn't seem natural. It seems like almost someone may have cut it down, but I'm not too sure. What do you make of it? You think it might be connected to this goblin?
The storm last night wasn't kind to the forest. It could be that, but I wouldn't put it past goblins to set up an elaborate trap.
Storm? There was a storm?
Yes, look around you. There's still puddles of mud.
I was just gonna say, as you look around and you do see puddles of mud, you also see sticks, branches, you see a lot of debris just kind of thrown around. Nothing crazy, nothing as crazy as a tree in this area, but you do see signs that could have been some sort of storm.
Definitely looks like there might have been some rain, but I don't know, something about that tree coming down. I mean, wouldn't you have heard it? Wouldn't we have heard it falling down? It's not too far from us.
I suppose we could have. There was plenty of thunder and lightning that was about. I wouldn't think too much of it, but should we take a look at it together?
Sure. What should we do with this goblin and the wolf?
He, you kind of see him get a little bit giddy, and he says, well, I'm glad you ask. And he gets up, wiping his mouth off of a little bit of food, and he says, would you like to find out after you've eaten?
Sure.
All right, so we're gonna count this as a short rest. So when a short rest happens, you can use your hit dice to heal yourself. Right now you have 6.
Short rest?
Yeah. Just click short rest. I'll be honest. I don't know what that button does.
You've never done it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it just rolls your hit die.
So you are at this point fully healed.
Oh.
Cool. It's the food in your belly.
And by the way, what he made was lamb chops with some of the food, or rather some of the berries and mushroom that you found. With the berries, he made a nice glaze.
Oh yeah, he never found berries.
Oh,
He
never
only
mind.
found mushrooms.
You get nothing. You only get a plain, unseasoned lamb chop with plain, unseasoned mushrooms.
For those mushrooms, Roger, as you're going through them, one of the most concerning things that you've noticed about Ark since he's come back is that when he came back from the excursion looking for berries and meat, he brought you green mushrooms. And you know that no one eats green mushrooms.
Yeah, and I rolled a nature check to check out the quality and see if they're poisonous, and I got a 22.
Yeah. Well, I would say even without a roll, this is very common knowledge that technically you don't even touch green mushrooms without some sort of glove or something in between your hand and the mushroom itself.
Yeah, so then he would like kind of, once you gave him the mushrooms, he would like sift through them, find the good ones, which is the 4, and then toss the green ones to the side. And then he'd look at you and say, odd.
And just keep cooking.
Yeah, just keep cooking. Yeah, this shit's already been weird. What's some fucking poisoning gonna do?
Yeah, and then we go about dinner. You guys have a pretty decent dinner. I imagine that during the dinner, Ark does learn a little bit about the world. I imagine that Roger begins to tell you just a little about the continent. He explains that the continent that you're currently on is called Illendor, with a diverse landscape, history going back well over 3,000 years. You know, elves have very long lifespans. And the central kingdom that you're currently in is called Valtoria, which at one point or another seemed to have a grasp on the entire continent, becoming an empire in its own right, before it was ultimately all lost during the Dark Days, which Roger doesn't really go much into. But he does explain that Valtoria is still the central coastal kingdom, and you are currently about a mile outside of Drakewatch, a southern town that serves as a sort of training ground and staging point for adventurers, defending the entire kingdom against the Drake-infested Southern Isles. He spends the time kind of giving you just a brief rundown of the continent after telling you that something seems off, and you not having your memory, you know, here's some basic things you need to know. He also goes on to tell you that after you get your adventurer's license, the plan is to continue on and head to Ebonport, the capital city, where you're set to meet someone of high profile, someone that's high profile. He doesn't give you an exact name or anything beyond it's a high profile mission, and you have to be an adventurer to accompany him on the mission. All right, you've eaten your what did you cook him? Plain ass rabbit chops?
No, cause even Roger wouldn't give that to the goblin. He made some rabbit chops, some rabbit like thighs with a very simple mushroom gravy.
That sounds pretty fucking good. That sounds pretty good. So, nice rabbit meat with a mushroom gravy.
And then I guess as you're finishing up, he, once your food has settled, he'd get up and he'd say, "Okay, so you're not done yet. I've got one final test for you, my friend, and it's not against dummies or me." And he walks towards the caged goblin, and he says, "We've gotten all that we could out of this poor soul. Now you'll have to dispatch it. Are you ready?" Alright, and that's it for this session 2 of Dungeons & Dragons for Dummies. Sean's really starting to find his stride with Arcturus, and it's been amazing watching him step into the role. We got plenty of twists and turns and surprises ahead, so don't miss the next episode. Subscribe, and see you then. Bye.